This conference will now be recorded.
So data page, so here you go with data page scopes. We have three scopes of the data page: thread scope, requester scope, and node scope. Requester scope means data page will be available for sharing only within one single requester session. What do you mean by session? Session and enti? You log in, session will be created. Log off, session will be vanished. Now you log in again, same operator you log in, database will be shared or created? Created again. See, suppose if I have logged in today morning, 9 o'clock. As part of my work, I am processing many different insurance applications. For all insurance applications, should we have to load country drop down? Country, okay, just as an example, I'm saying this. Let's say agency details. I belong to one agency. I'm an operator. I'm an agent, insurance agent. I belong to specific agency, KPHP. Agency means branch. If I am processing insurance applications, means only this agency I'll process, all agencies I'll process. Only this agency. For this agency, I am the agent. Today I collected 10 applications from different customers. All these applications I have to process. Okay. Now I am processing all these applications in this agency. Now agency details has to be pulled, right? For all the work objects that I am creating, agency details are same or not? Based on my agent ID, it has to pull my agency details. The application that I am processing should be processed with my agent reference under my agency reference. So same agency details. While creating insurance application, should it have to use agency details? So for the first application, while processing, the details I am going to pull from the agency table. Second application, should I have to pull again? It will be copied from the existing agency page. That is a data page. Now, while designing my system for processing all this, I have to create it as a data page because sharing is required. But I should have to choose the scope of the data page, whether it should be added with requester or any other scope. Here I know that because this application processings will be done by agents belong to one agency, so the agency details pulled by this requester is not required to be shared with any other agency requester. Between requesters it should not be shared, but sharing should happen for all transactions done by this agent. Similarly, like if I log into bank application, I'm performing transactions in my account. So my account details should be shared, should be available for all transactions, but not with other user. So my sharing is limited to one operator session. So in that cases, you design your data page to have the scope of requester. This is clear? Okay. Now other type of scope is thread. Thread means one single thread is equal to, let's understand this way, one transaction means one work object. Means if you create a data page with thread scope, design it with a thread scope, means your data page will be available for sharing within work object, but not with other transaction performed by same user also. It will not be available. So tell me one requirement where the data should be available to be shared within one work object, maybe multiple times, but not with other work objects. Huh?
Agent processing multiple user applications, so user account related information.
Yes. See, if an agent is processing multiple applications, user account related information can be used within that processing many times, but not with other transactions. First transaction is for user 1, second transaction is for user 2, third transaction for user 3. User 1 account details during the processing of the first transaction for user 1 might be used many places, but not with the other users account processing. Okay, so this can be thread scope. You have to design it like holding this account details for a particular transaction should be within the thread scope. Suppose you are doing a transfer, balance amount. Once you log in and swipe your card and all, it will bring the balance, total amount. When you enter the amount, it will verify with the total amount. Again, it is not required to bring the balance within the same transaction, right? It will use first when you give card number and PIN number, whatever that validated, it is going to bring up the data and use the same. After you enter the input amount, it has to again verify it is less than or greater than. It is not again required to bring the balance from the table. It will see from the cached data, it is going to verify. Like this, within one transaction, you want to limit the balance amount being cached. But other transaction, is it changing? What if you share this to other transaction also? You'll see inappropriate data. Actually, your balance was something different. After that, you have withdrawn some amount of money, let's say. Then what happens if you share within the same login? It's not correct actually. So there are some restrictions in your business where you're going to design your system such that data can be shared only within one work object, not with other work objects, other transactions. In this case, you identify and choose the scope of the database to be thread. If the database scope is requester, means database will be available for sharing across all the work objects of single requester session, but not with other requesters. If database scope is thread, means database will be available for sharing within one work object multiple times, but not with other work objects. This is clear? Now database scope node. Node means one node is equal to, you understand, like one server, one application server. Database will be available for sharing across all the requesters who log on to node. Similarly, like Facebook application, when multiple users log in for registration, country drop down. Is it node scope or requester scope? Country drop down can be node scope because countries are same for all requesters, right? So country drop downs are now getting populated. You design it like node scope, it has to load. So it will be available on the server directly. Now, n number of people log on to same server, data will be shared from the database. So database will be available for in 3 different scopes. So database scope thread means it will be available for sharing within one single work object, but not with other work objects. The scope of the database requester means it will be available for sharing across multiple work objects of single requester session, but not with other requesters. Database scope node means it will be available for sharing across multiple requesters who are on the same node, but not with the requesters who are on other node of same application. Meaning that in real-time enterprise design, your application will be running on multiple application servers, not on one server. There will be a load balancing server in between. When you log in Facebook will have one city of servers. They will be setting up a village of servers. There will be thousands and thousands of servers. All will have load balancing connected accordingly. When you first hit the URL, it will go to load balancing server. Leave about authentication and all, just generally. Load balancing server. Load balancing now will decide to which application server this has to be redirected. Suppose 10,000 users are there on an average per minute. 10,000 users running on one server will be a lot of burden on the server. Instead of that, you maintain 10 different servers with a load balancing, 1,000 on one server, 1,000 on second server, 1,000 on, like this, all the requesters will be distributed to multiple different application servers. But as an end user, you do not feel like you have multiple servers running. End user, you will find it like a one application, one server only. But actual backend design is your application is running on multiple servers. When you log in, you will be redirected to different servers. Okay, I'll explain you this tomorrow. The same what I have told now. I'll explain you with diagrams tomorrow. After that, we can start working on it. All the theory what I have told now, it is available in the document. You go through it, read it once, and try to imagine one business requirement for the scope, where you can apply thread scope, where you can apply requester scope, where you can apply node scope. Node scope, country drop down, node scope. Agency details, requester scope. Account details, something like transaction data. I mean, like total amount, balance amount can be within the thread scope. Like this, you just imagine any other business. It's up to you. You just imagine any. Okay, just go through Amazon. Okay, find out 3 requirements of databases like thread, requester, and node, and tell me that. Okay, this is clear. So tomorrow, once after we discuss again what is this load balancing and all, we can start working on data. It will not take more than 1 minute to work on database, but understanding is most important. Okay, all these points are given in the documents. You go through it and just read it and just try to imagine yourself with the requirements, and come tomorrow we'll discuss more about it. Okay, for today you can wind up. We'll continue tomorrow. Thank you for joining. I think there's no document today, or we have document. And tracer also, you just execute and see it. I didn't tell you anything how to look up the values in the tracer and all. I will tell you going forward. We have to use it many places. Okay, just to get an access to tracer and trace and settings. That's it, an idea. Okay, so today you don't have much practical. It is just all navigations you have seen plus this theory, and you need to be parallel to me with the development so far, whatever that we have done. Okay, should not be lagging. Remember that. We can wind up for today. Thank you for joining. So everyone can exit the meeting. ఉంటాయండి మీరు బ్రౌజర్ 110% to 120% అలా ఉంటుంది. 90-80 పెట్టండి వస్తుంది. 90 కూడా సెట్ కాబోతుంది. వస్తాయి. పాపప్ బ్లాకర్ ఏమైనా ఉందని చూడండి. ఎలో పాపప్స్ కొన్ని యాడ్ ఆన్స్ రన్ అవుతాయి ఆటోమేటిక్, అవి బ్లాక్ అయి ఉంటాయి. ఓకేనా, యాడ్ ఆన్స్ బ్లాక్ చేసి ఉంటాయి, యాడ్ ఆన్స్ అన్బ్లాక్ చేయండి. ఓకేనా, అయితే లేదా ఎక్కడ అవట్లేదు? లోకల్ లిస్ట్ రావట్లేదు, రాకుండా ఉండవు అసలు. లోకల్ లిస్ట్ రాకుండా ఉండవు. మీకు కంట్రోల్ డ్రాప్ డౌన్ వస్తుందా? మీరు ఇప్పుడు దాన్ని మార్చారా ఏమన్నా? అంతే ఉంచారా? ఏమైనా చేంజెస్ చేస్తారు దానికి? లోకల్ వస్తాయి ఖచ్చితంగా. లోకల్ లిస్ట్ రావడానికి అసలు రీజనే లేదు. డీబగ్ చేయడానికి కూడా ఉండదు. మీరు ఇది టేబుల్ నుంచి పాపులేట్ చేస్తుంటే రావట్లేదు అంటున్నారా? లోకల్ లిస్ట్ నుంచి రావట్లేదా? ల్యాప్టాప్ లిస్ట్ రావాలి. లోకల్ లిస్ట్ రాకుండా ఉండదు అసలు, ఛాన్స్. టేబుల్ నుంచి పాపులేట్ చేస్తే రావట్లేదు అంటే టేబుల్లో డేటా లేదో మీ యాక్టివిటీ ఫెయిల్ అవుతుందో చూడొచ్చు. దీనికి కంపల్సరీ ఉండాలి. ఇదంతా బ్యాచ్ 563. ఓకే, ఇంకా అవ్వట్లేదు అప్పుడే. నేను మీకు ఇంటిమేట్ అందరికీ చెప్తాను మళ్ళీ. అర్థం కాదు. చేయండి, మీరు చేసేసి రెడీగా పెట్టుకోండి. చేసేయండి. నాకు వాట్సాప్ లో మెసేజ్ పెట్టండి. 965253 ఉంది కదా, ఆ నెంబర్కి పెట్టండి. ఓకేనా? Okay, we were discussing about case management, right? What did we discuss yesterday? What is the purpose of create chesam manam child cases అయితే? Approve, and after that did we see anything else? Oh, that and all we have seen. Hanover 1. Okay, చెప్పండి, లాస్ట్ ఏం డిస్కస్ చేసాం? వాట్ డిడ్ వి డిస్కస్ yesterday? We have seen that, and we designed child cases and all. After that, did I tell you anything about clipboard pages and all? What is that I have told you? You see the clipboard. Did I tell you anything about clipboard? Page Rines Kisa. Did I tell you that how to store in different tables? After that, all covered result. Oh, right. Okay. We thought of discussing about some properties. Okay. 561. So case management continuation. Here you go with case management. So having one single transaction with multiple work objects. So where the work objects will have relation of parent and child. That is called cover and covered cases. This is what case management generally. See, what is the purpose behind designing your system, your transaction system, like case management and parent and child case? What is the purpose? To achieve parallel processing. Keep this in mind. We'll discuss later. Okay, again. Okay, now let's go ahead and proceed forward and create a case. New vehicle insurance. Done. Okay, so here you go. I'll open other cases also. We'll understand more about clipboard of this rules. A38. So yesterday we understood like all the cases will store into same table. How did we understand that? Because all PGDIN is keys of same, all these classes are referring to class group name only. That means all are referring to same table. Okay. Now, if you go to PY work page, parent case, what is parent case here? H88. If you go to H88, PY work page. See, on this page we have some properties. These are the two properties, PX covered count and PX covered count open. If we look at the PY work page of parent case, we have two properties. What is that? PX covered count. Okay, I'm not going to document it. I will give you other documents which I am teaching for other people, because theory everywhere it is same. There is nothing much to write down. I cannot write down also. See, but let me tell you, PX covered count is equal to 2. PX covered count open is equal to 2. Okay, look at here. I'm going to close this. I'm going to complete A38. A38 I'm going to complete, submit. I'll open the clipboard now again. Just wait. H88 again I'm going to open. I'm going to open clipboard again and show you the property values. Yes, please. Okay, Prasad. So here you go. What is the covered count open now? 1. Previously 2. Covered count 2. Previously 2. Now tell me, what is PX covered count property is holding? What is PX covered count open property is holding? What is that value is all about? PX covered count is equal to the number of child cases which are existing, means created. Existing means it is not existing, which are created so far. So PX covered count means so far how many number of child cases created. Covered count open means which are yet to be resolved. Okay, let me tell you one example. We have a case, parent case, it has 5 child case types. I have instantiated parent case, it has spanned 3 child cases. What is covered count? Covered count open 3. Covered count is equal to 3. Covered count open equal to 3. During the processing of parent case, one more child case is spanned. What is covered count? For covered count open 4. After that, I have resolved 2 child cases. What is covered count? 4 only. Covered count open 2. After some time, one more child case is created and one is resolved. What is covered count? Covered count is 5. Covered count open is equal to 2 only. So covered count means so far how many cases created? Covered cases. Covered count open means how many cases are yet to get resolved. This is clear. I will, based on this, I will ask you one requirement, because your case management is something which we have already worked on. Technical implementation we know. Only these properties we should know. I will give you a requirement based on these properties only. You have to tell me. This is my parent case, right? See, generally how it works. Your parent case can be completed. I'll open the stages so that you will better understand. This is parent case type, right? Even though child cases are still open, not completed, parent case can be proceeded forward, can be resolved. That is the default behavior of Pega. Suppose my requirement is I want to restrict my parent case without being proceeded forward, where if at all any child cases are yet to be resolved. This is my requirement. I will tell you more detail. In transaction details, suppose someone is working on parent case is a transaction details. In transaction details form, submit. Generally it will proceed forward, right? After you submit, it has to verify whether this case has any open child cases available. If still open child case is available, it should be on the same screen. else it has to proceed forward. If that is the requirement given to you, tell me what to design here, how to redesign, what has to be added. What is your design? Huh? How would you get the child case status when the transaction is at parent case? How would you look up the child case status? PX covered count? Covered count. PX covered count open? What is it? Chappandi? Is equal to? PX covered count open is equal to 0. Means all child cases are completed. It can proceed forward, else it has to stay back. So the condition what you got here is PX covered count open is equal to 0. Based on that, you need to write a when condition. For that, PRPC already has a condition called all covered resolved. All covered. If you open this when condition all covered resolved, it is available with PX covered count open is equal to 0. So you can use this condition to identify at any time whether all the child cases are resolved or not. So you know the condition now. Then tell me what is the design of your case here, such that if this condition is satisfied, it should proceed forward, else it has to stay back on the same screen. How to implement it? How to redesign your case type? Online resources. How to redesign? Transaction details, you will add a when clause. Where you will add? Tell me total implementation completely. What you have to do if you want to design that? Yeah,
probably
once you click on submit, you go through validation and call the when rule and display the message. This is one approach. What is the next approach? Simply you can use a obj validate and call this when condition obj validate using a function called when function is there. You call it and display error message, it will be there on the same screen. That obj validate you call on the flow action tab. What is the other way around is you can add a decision shape, use fork, call the when root, forward direction and backward to same transaction again. Either of the ways is okay, but better use obj validate. That is fair enough. Instead of adding one more flow shape. This is clear, everyone? This implementation we have already done, but the only thing is you don't know this property. That's why I wanted to give you information about property. Case management, something I'll teach you, like I already told you everything. Only case management I'll tell you what are the properties or conditions, some predefined things that are available. Implementation and all, knowing all these things, you should be able to implement because you already know how to implement everything. This is something we have implemented previously or not? We have implemented, but only thing is we are implementing the same with a different property called PX covered count open is equal to 0. That is all covered result. Okay. Now, up to this, everyone clear? All covered result. This is there in another document which I am going to share you. Okay. Now, what else? Clipboard again. We will go to clipboard. I'm sorry. If you go to clipboard, let's understand some other pages. In the parent case, you see parent case workup data on its PY work page, right? What about child cases? Child cases workup data will be available where? On their PY work page that you are aware of, right? If you go to parent case, PY work page, under this, you have a property called PX covered INS keys of 1, 2. See, PX covered INS keys, how many values it is holding? 2 values. It is more than 1 value. So far we didn't see this type of property. So far we have seen single value property which will hold one value. We have seen page property which will hold properties along with values. We have seen page list which will hold multiple pages. But this is something, one property holding multiple values, similar to something in C language. What is that? Arrays. So this is called value list property. This is called value list property. Value list PX covered INS keys is the OTP value list property. What is there on this value list property? Child case, PZ INS keys. While you are at parent case, if you want to know the PZ INS key of any of the child case, you can go ahead and read PX covered INS keys. This is clear, everyone? Now, child case PZ INS keys will be made available to parent case on its PX covered INS keys value list property. This is clear? You know, for each embedded page looping. Similarly, in the loop, we have one more option called for each value list. Means it will for loop on value list property. Property of 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. Okay. Now, see, child case PZ INS keys will be made available to parent case on an OTP value list property PX covered INS keys. Now tell me one thing. I'll ask you one requirement based on this. My parent case is being designed. During the processing of parent case, I wanted to pull the data of one child case into parent case. How to pull it? First of all, tell me, if you want to pull the data, you need to write an activity. Which method you have to use? Either obj open or obj open by handle or obj browse also you can use if you know if you want to get the read only data. Either of these three, okay. But what is the value that you have to pass? Only specific child I want to pull. Which value you want to pass? Either you have to pass PYID or PZINS key. Let's say PZINS key you want to pass. You have to read the PZINS key of child into parent. How would you get? Because child case PZINS key will be available on its PY page. That you cannot look up. You can look up the PZINS keys of child cases on its PX covered INS keys. Now in this, how to identify specific child case? PZINS key. Based on what is the common text in this? Class group name. What is where you can differentiate this? Prefix name. Can we maintain same prefix for two child cases? It is possible, but do you maintain? What is the issue if you maintain? See, suppose two cases, if I maintain same prefix, you will see next number. Suppose child case 1 A1, child case 2 also same prefix A2. Within one transaction, you are maintaining two sequential numbers per. So we always make sure this is a practice, because PRPC do not have a restriction on maintaining the same prefix for two cases, because first case is created, next case will be created with the next number. It will not a compilation issue or it will not a runtime issue. So you always make sure you maintain different prefixes for all different cases for ease of design during the processing, during the case design. If you go to application definition, here you just maintain different prefixes. Okay. Now out of this value, I want to read the prefix value at runtime. How to read? You need to use string functions. What comes after the first occurrence of this string? This is always constant, right? You can hard code it. What comes after the first occurrence of this string resultant value is A38. Out of that, what comes before the first occurrence of dash? A, V, B, C, something like this. If the value is matching with the value that you are expecting, then you read that PZINS key. Like that, you need to design on your own. So you need to look through the value list that is provided and get the PZINS key of one of the child case and do obj open of the child case. This and all we have already done. OBJ open and all. Given a requirement to pull the child case data into parent case, you should exactly know where this PZINS key of child case is available. If you know that, remaining practice is doing OBJ browse or OBJ open by handle is up to you. But getting this value is most important. For that, you should have the knowledge about PX covered INS keys. So you should have the knowledge about PX covered INS keys. It is available on parent case POR page on a value list property called PX covered INS keys. This is clear, everyone? Next point. Now let's examine child case pages. Okay, let's go to child cases. On child case, you have PY work page. See, do you have PX covered INS keys here also? It is for future purpose. This child can be parent to some other child. Tree can be proceeded forward. Leave about that. Apart from PY work page, if you look at child cases, you have another page. What is that? PY work cover. Go to second. What is the class of PY work cover? Vehicle insurance. And under PY work cover, do you have PX covered INS keys? Do you have child case PG INS keys? Now, if you go to another child case, A dash or something, do you have PY work cover? Referring to same class, do you have PX covered INS keys? What is this PY work cover all about? Parent case? What is this PY work cover here? Parent case? See, for all child cases, we can make the parent case data available at runtime. That is through PY work cover. PY work cover on child cases is equal to PY work page of copy of PY work page of parent case. Everything that you do on parent case will be transferred to child case on PY work cover. That is internal mechanism. See, in your transaction processing, in your transaction design of child case, if you want to read the data of a parent case, what you have to do? Should you have to do obj open or obj open by handle? That is not required. You have to do simply a property set from PY work cover to PY work page of respective child case. Done. So you should know that PY work cover holds parent case data. If you know that, if you want to pull the data of parent case into child, it is very simple. Simple property set. You are not required to obj open at all. This is clear, everyone? Let me ask you another requirement. You will get requirements like this only, nothing other than that. Another requirement is, I am designing child case 1. I want to pull the data of child case 2. Okay. If you want to pull the data, you have to do obj open or obj open by handle because it is a sibling. It is not parent at all. For that, you need either PGINS key or PYID. You should exactly know where to read this PGINS key. Where to read it from? How you can read? We can read it from PY work cover dot PY work cover dot PX covered INS keys. If you know that, all PGINS keys of siblings also will be available to me on PY work cover. Then you can go ahead and pull it from there and then do obj open or obj open by handle. This is what case management. Okay. Up to this, everyone clear? So we discussed about the data of all cases will be available on its own PY work page. Parent case will have child case PGINS keys on PX covered INS keys of PY work page. Parent case data, everything will be available to all children on PY work cover. If you want to pull the other child cases data, you need to read PX covered INS keys from PY work cover. If you want to pull the data of parent case, you need to read PY work cover directly. If you want to pull the child case data into parent case, then you need to read PX covered INS keys child case work object ID and then do this. Other than this, let me open the case type rule. This is parent case type rule, right? Add a step. You have a smart. All these notes is available in the document. I will share you that. You have a flow smart shape called update a case. Add this, select this, and look at here options with ID. Single case you want to update with ID. What is the ID of the case? C-123. It is hard coded or it can be referenced from page.property. Update a case, some property you provide or direct value you provide that should have child case ID or any case ID. Update a case, run a data transform. For that case, data transform you do property set from current case to that case, data will be done with property set. This is clear? Next. If you go with all child cases means you write data transform. Parent from parent to all child. It will execute for all child cases, the property values will be set. This is clear. You can also use this. Let's go to child case type. Where is child case type? This is child case type. And here I am going to use more utilities. Update a case. Update a case, select this. Now it is showing single case or all child cases, same options, because it can be parent to some other children. So this hierarchy can be like anything. Now you can also update the cases, data from one case to other case. What is the advantage using a smart shape called update a case? This is smart shape. What is the advantage of using update case smart shape? You're not required to do obj open my handle, acquire lock and update data back and save it back and commit it back. This is not required. All that is internally designed using update a case shape. You can use update a case smart shape also. This is clear, everyone. What we have discussed manually so far can be done in a simple way by using update a case. You can provide py workpage.px covered ins keys of 1 out of that or 2 out of that. You need to bring that id separately and then pass it. Okay, this is clear, everyone. Now, so proceeding forward. So you want to update the data from parent into child during the instantiation. Means my parent case is created. I am working on parent case. At certain point of time in the parent case, child is created. Immediately when child case creates, I want to pull the data from parent to child. Let me tell you an example. Suppose I am creating a recruitment case. Recruitment case is created. As part of the recruitment process, selection is completed. I collected all the details. Everything is collected and offer is released. Next is onboarding case. Once offer released, it should automatically create onboarding case. It will create onboarding case. When onboarding case is created, should I have to request for the data again from the student? I'm sorry, the resource for the documents and details? No. What I am going to do is, once onboarding case is created, I will populate the data from, copy the data from recruitment case into onboarding case. This is called data propagation. This is called data propagation. Means you are copying the data from one case to a parent case to child cases at the time child cases are instantiated. Okay, this is called data propagation. Everyone clear? Now, if you go ahead here, data propagation can be done like this. If you go to case lifecycle, settings tab, parent case only propagation will be available. Child case it will not be available. Data propagation, map property values from this case type, means parent case type to specific child cases. You are not required to populate to every child case. You select and add a property and give property to property 1, property 2, or you call a data transform, assign properties. Parent case data will be from py workpage of parent case, data will be transferred to py workpage of child cases. It happens during the instantiation of child case, not parent. It is child case. This is called data propagation. Given a requirement, I want you to populate the data from parent into child at the moment the child is being created. You have to use data propagation, which is available in the parent case. This is also documented. I'll share it. Did you understand what is data propagation? When you go for data propagation, when you go for update case, update case is after case is available, created, available, you open it and update it. Data propagation is during the case is being created, you want to copy the data into case py workpage. That is like a py default data transform execute, right? Same. This is clear? So this is what data propagation means. Everyone clear with this? Next, we need to discuss about calculations. Okay, everyone clear so far? This implementation and all we are not required to do because it is pretty straightforward. You know all this, but only thing is you should know what facilities are provided in the case management technique. Implementation, why I am not telling is we have already worked on implementation, kind of implementations, copying data from one page to other page and all. But you should know when I call it page data transform here, how it will update. It will update from parent to child. So is that all after data has been submitted on form? It's not on form. It's not only one form. It can be anything. Some data is there in parent that I want to transfer to child of whatever you do property set. That's it. Okay. Okay. Now let me tell you another thing called. I'm sorry. I'm going to open this. If you open the case type rule, you have a tab called calculations. I will just write something here. Looking at that, you tell me what is the purpose of this. Property 1, you read it. Aggregate properties, calculate property. It is parent case, right? Parent case property is equal to sum of following properties on child cases. These are child cases, right? Approval, property 2. First of all, what is the logical operation here? Sum, only sum logical operation. There is nothing like into, multiplication, divide, only sum. Now looking at this, you tell me what is this all about? Property 1 is equal to, you tell me this property 1 is equal to property 2 plus property 3. But this property 1 belongs to which case? Parent case. Property 2 belongs to child 1. Property 3 belongs to child. Means this some properties, some of the property values are being assigned to a property in target property. Child 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Some properties, all sum operation is getting assigned to parent property. Right? Can you tell me at what moment it has to happen? During the processing, exactly what moment? Whenever the value of the property 2 or property 3 changes, it will update it to property 1. It is similar to what kind of rule internally executes? Declare expression. It is declare expression forward chaining. Okay. Now, let me ask you one thing. What is the business requirement where you can use calculations tab like this? Any business requirement that you can tell me? Otherwise, I'll tell you. Hang on. This requirement is also written. I'll tell you because I know it. Suppose I have a recruitment case. Recruitment case is created. R1. I am not going to write all the properties. Only I am going to write some of the one of the property. Number of positions filled. This property will be there is equal to 0. Right? This is parent case. It has some child cases. It has some child cases. Let's say child case is, let's say Java. This is one child case. Okay. And another child case is Pega. There can be a number of child cases, right? Like this, Pega.NET and all. This case is open for this reason. These are the positions open. Now recruitment cases will be Java cases will be transferred to Java case will be transferred to Java team. Pega case will be transferred to Pega team. .NET will be transferred to .NET. They will start recruitment process. They will access their assignments. Once the recruitment process is going on, once candidate is hired, they will update the positions filled. Right? Java number of positions filled is equal to 1. Should I have to immediately update the recruitment case? Number of positions filled is equal to 1. Here they have hired 2 people and updated. What is the value? Is it similar to what we have seen in calculation tab? This is not the only requirement. This is one of the requirements. Like these requirements you may see in your application development. That time, generally, if you want to manually do all this, what you have to do, on change you have to write. You have to write on change activity. You have to do obj open by handle of parent case. The property value you have to assign from this property. Save it back by obj save, commit it. That on change should be written for every other child case property. So instead of doing all this stuff, we are going to use this one. It is declare on change internally, not expression. Declare on change internally. Okay. So like this, your process is simplified and given as a task here in the calculation tab. Only for sum operation, not for into and all. Into and all, if you want to do multiplication divide, you have to go out and use on change and open the case and update it back. Okay, this is clear, everyone. So this is about calculations tab. You should know when to use this. When you will go and use this calculation tab. If you want to assign some of the values from child into parent during any child case processing. It's not only one child, any child case. Every time it updates, it has to update back. Next. This is one of the concepts in case management. What are the topics that we discussed in case management? Is we understand instantiation process. We understand copying data from parent to child and child to parent. We understand calculations tab. We understand PY work cover. We understand PX covered analysis. All this purpose, if you know, implementation is in your hands. So far, which we have done many times. Okay. Next. We need to talk about work object locking. Okay, I will explain you work object locking. Document I will provide you. So far you already aware of work object locking, right? What is work object locking means? When an operator opens a work object, will not allow other operator to open the same work object because lock is required. What is the background processing for lock? PR syslock. The table PR syslock gets updated with a value. This is default locking. What is the default lock time? Ideal timeout for default lock? 30 minutes. I told you this. Default ideal timeout for default lock. Suppose I logged in as an operator, I left for the day opening the work object. After 30 minutes, lock will be automatically released. Now, if you go to case type, case designer, where is it? Case designer, and go to settings tab. Here you can see locking. Click on this. Yeah, case opened. Lock when a case is opened. This is default locking, which we know already. Other than default locking, there is another type of locking available. That is called optimistic locking. Optimistic locking happens when it happens? When an action on case is taken. See, your default lock time is 30 minutes. You want to override to 20 minutes, you can override. Okay, but leave it. Optimistic locking means when an action is taken on case, then only lock will be acquired. Did you understand what is the meaning of this statement? Suppose you open the case, lock will not be acquired. That means, can multiple resources open the case? Everyone can open the case, lock will not be acquired. So only when you submit, during the moment of submit action is being taken, lock will be acquired. That means parallelly multiple people can work on, but parallelly they cannot submit. This is also not real-time parallel processing, right? Optimistic locking is also not real-time parallel processing. Two submits happen same moment. Only one person it will proceed forward, other person it will show lock is acquired. Okay, this is clear. Optimistic locking means lock will be acquired during the moment of an action is being performed on the case. Lock will be released once commit is done. Okay, not in the when you open it. Everyone clear? So we need to understand locking strategy between parent and child. This is most important. Okay, so let me open child case. One of the child case, if I open, go to settings tab. Do you have something called locking here? And do you have locking like default optimistic here? It is not there. Instead, what it says? Locking strategy is inherited from parent case type. That is how system is designed actually. Meaning that whatever the locking that you apply on parent is applicable to all children. It's not only one child, all children. Suppose parent case you apply optimistic locking, all children will follow optimistic locking. Parent case if you apply default locking, all children will follow default locking. Let me ask you one question. Is there a facility that parent is following optimistic? I have 5 children. 4 should follow optimistic, 1 should follow default. Is there any such facility? Where is it? On child case, do you have such facility of following some locking? There is no such facility. Whatever parent uses, same is being inherited to all children. Same locking mechanism. This is clear? Next, let me explain you the behavior of locking between parent and child. That is, default behavior in Pega is anytime when a child case is opened, lock will be acquired on current case that you are aware of. It is with respect to default only. There is no sense of optimistic locking because optimistic locking is an action is performed, right? With default locking, we are going to understand. Once child case is opened, is it going to acquire lock on child? It will acquire. Plus, it acquires lock on parent case as well. It acquires lock on parent case as well. This is default behavior of Pega. That means if I open approval case, vehicle insurance is also be acquired with lock. Let me ask you one question now. I am operator 2. Operator 1 is assigned with vehicle insurance tasks. Operator 2 is assigned with approvals. Operator 3 is assigned with verifications. Operator 2 is open approval task. Can operator 1 work on insurance case? He cannot work on it. What is the reason? Because lock is automatically acquired on parent also. Now, my question is, can operator 3 work on verification case? Operator 3, can he work on verification case? How? That is a different case. Sibling child is going to work on verification. He will open verification, it will acquire lock on verification. Also, it will try to acquire lock on insurance or not. Then will it be worked on or not? It cannot be worked on. So parallel processing is there. So even though you define and design with parent and child cases, locking strategy is like when child is opened, one of the child is opened, acquire lock on child plus parent. Other children cannot be worked on. Parent also cannot be worked on by different people. So parallel processing is not possible. This is optional. Adding parallel processing facility is given to you by a checkbox. That is, do not lock parent when the child is open. On child cases, you have a checkbox. Do not lock parent when the child is open. If you select this checkbox, when this child case is open, lock is required only on this child case but not on the parent. If I select this checkbox for all child cases, is this parallel processing now? When child is open, it will open only that child acquire lock. Parent can be worked on by different person, other child can be worked on by other different person. So if you want to achieve parallel processing, it is not only you design case types, parent and child, also check this checkbox on all children. Can we make it partial parallel processing? Means some child cases should have dependency, some should be parallelly processed. Possible or not possible? It is possible. For some child cases, we'll check it. So it is given with respect to every other business requirement. Sometimes we need only partial parallel processing, full parallel processing, or I do not want parallel processing even though I have parent and child, let's say. But still I want it to be parent and child. Then like that, PRPC has designed its system for case management with a new technique of providing this checkbox and locking. This is most important. Understanding locking strategy between parent and child. Every time by default, child is open, parent will also be acquired with lock. That will prevent the parallel processing mechanism. So in order to achieve the parallel processing, you have to select the checkbox. Do not lock parent when the child is open on child cases. Then only child case lock will be acquired. This is clear? Everyone? Okay. These are the different provisions available in parent and child cases. So sibling cannot be worked on. Even siblings cannot be worked on parallelly unless you check this checkbox. Let me tell you one requirement. Parent case, 2 children. One child, I have checked this checkbox. Another child, I did not check this checkbox. Now, is it parallel processing possible between children or not? Between children, it is possible because child 1 independently, child 2 also independently acquire lock on child 2 plus parent. But is it possible between parent and child when child 2 is being worked on? When child 1 is being worked on, between parent and child parallel processing is possible? Like this ways also you have different constraints that you can go ahead and apply using these checkboxes. How? Then open chesa. Reality lo ila open cheyaru kada. Every case will be routed to respective teams or respective people. One person will not open all the cases. Even though you open all the cases, you can work on it because each case will have its own locking. Okay, this is clear, everyone. So like this, PRPC is going to maintain the locking strategy between parent and child cases. This is important out of what we have discussed.
Harsha.
What is because? I didn't get you. I didn't route it to anyone. Everything is current operator only. Everything is current operator.
Harsha, I have a doubt.
So same operator can open all 3 places instantly.
Operator 1 opens, it acquire lock on. How it will open? It cannot open. I understand. If one operator is accessing 3 cases with default behavior, he cannot work on 3 parallelly. Yeah. Okay. It is one operator, multiple cases, right? As already lock is there, he should be able to work on one operator. But generally, we will not route to one operator. It will be anyway multiple operators. One operator means he will acquire lock on child 1, parent also will be acquired. Child 2 when he open, lock is already acquired, right? It will allow you to open. That's why it is allowing. Yes. Correct. That is also matters. This is clear? So like this, okay, someone else is asking question online.
Harsha, can you please help me in one concept? For example, you have opened vehicle 103. So that is default locking. If we open that case and we are not taking any action, that is default. But if we click on any local action or start doing action, then it is optimistic. Am I
I
correct?
didn't get you. Come again. It's not
If we have
okay. Optimistic locking means okay. You will select either default or optimistic. Default locking means you open it. Default locking. Okay. You open the lock case means lock is acquired. Optimistic means you open the case, lock will not be acquired. Submit the case or any action. It is not only submit. You open a local action. You are performing something. Some action is being performed on a case. That can be attaching a document. That can be submitting a this one or doing something on the case. We shall perform an action. Then during the moment the action is being taken place, then lock will be acquired. That is optimistic locking. Clear?
okay. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. This is optimistic locking. So these are the things about case management. In a case management, you have to understand parent case, child cases, their work pages, PY work cover, PX covered INS case, data propagation, update cases, PX covered count, those properties, and what is the other one? Calculations tab and locking strategy. If you know all these things, how to apply is in your hands. That's why I told you case management is not a separate subject. It is just a technique implemented. Can I extend something like this case management on my own? Some other technique we can implement, right? Similarly, like it's up to you how you want to design your system. Okay. Ultimately, it is based on core Pega only. Okay. This is what case management simply. Did we work on exception handling? Okay, we'll work on exception handling. That is OTP. This one, huh? Case designer. Approval. That is cascading approval. Cascading approval, I'll tell you. Just let me tell you. You should understand by this time what is meant by cascading approval. Did you understand anything from the word cascading approval? See, cascading approval will be available single level or matrix level. Matrix means this is called some matrix. What they call? I don't know. There is some other word before that matrix. See, single level means your reporting manager. It will be routed. If you go with multi-level, that is matrix, then it will go to multiple managers. Your operator, manager, reporting manager, reporting manager, reporting manager, reporting manager, till it finds the hierarchy where there is no manager specified for the highest manager. All levels approval should be received and it will proceed forward. There are options again. Any, all. Any means anyone approves, proceed. All approves, proceed. That is what cascading approval. So if you want to manually implement this, you have to do one thing. You have to do OBJ open of operator 1, reporting manager. Again OBJ open. You have to open till you find null value for PY reporting. Once you find null value, stop it and add all these properties into one page list. That page list you pass for the split for each and route it to everyone. Same is implemented as a cascading approvals. That's why I didn't mention it, because we have done this actually, not this way, other way around. Okay, this is clear, everyone? Yeah, I will explain you. Alternate stage, just give me 1 minute. See, in a business, there are requirements such that case processing can happen in a regular path or it has to take an alternate path of processing. If you go here, add a step. Okay. This approval only I'll add. If I add approval, It is adding an alternate stage. You can configure something here. It's up to you what you want to configure. It's not only resolution stage. It can be anything. If manager approves, it will be approved, proceed forward with the rest of the processing. If manager rejects, it will jump to alternate stage. Something you will define in alternate stage. Can you tell me any example, business requirement, business example for alternate path? Your transaction regular path, based on condition, it has to choose the alternate path. Once you go back to alternate path, you cannot come back to regular path. Generally, go to alternate path, you cannot come back to regular. Can you tell me any alternate processing you need? Chapandi. Any business, any transaction you take, any process. That you can do even in the regular path, right? What is the additional processing? You need some different processing to be done than your happy path. General, it's not only, we cannot say it is both are happy path only. It's alternate stage, do not think like it's a negative direction always. It can be anything. Depends on your requirement. Chapandi. What is that? What is that? Huh? No. అట్లా ఉంటుందా అది మీరే చూస్ చేసుకోవాలి సపోజ్ లెట్స్ సే suppose you are doing a check processing, you are designing a check processing, all checks will go ahead and will be auto approved. Okay, in a regular path check amount will be verified, regular path it will go. This is one kind of processing. Amount verified, okay, less than let's say $1 million, approval auto approved. Let's say it is auto approved and proceeded forward to the disbursement. Next, suppose if it is greater than 1 lakh, I wanted to go ahead within an alternate path where it requires multiple steps to be executed. One is manual approval, manual verification. These are two different steps should happen. But this manual approval, manual verification is not required always. This processing, regular processes like auto approve and proceed forward. Other alternate processes, manual approval and manual verification. If it goes to alternate path, it cannot come back to regular path. From regular path to alternate path, it can jump, but not reverse. That is not possible. If you go into, but case will be resolved the same way how it will resolve at the top. Here also either will be resolved successful or unsuccessful, so based on again certain processing that happens here. Like these designs, if you have, you can go ahead and use alternate paths. Perhaps you can previous requirement recruitment and then onboarding developers. Yeah, something wherever you find it is like an alternate processing, you can design it as an alternate path. This can be used as an alternate path in many different stages. Generally, if this processing also you define here, okay, you have to jump this way and that way many times. Instead of that, alternate path you can call it many different places in your case processing again. Okay, so this is simply an alternate processing of your case is alternate path. Okay, if you want to use, you can use, otherwise you can design the same processing also, it's up to you. Okay, so I'll tell you about exception handling tomorrow. I am not very much sure about the restriction of number of stages. You just create one staging, like add 10-15 stages and try to save every stage with one name and see is there any restriction. Tell me.
Harsha,
But I don't know
that is 20, like the maximum number of shapes we can use as per guardrails.
There's no restriction. Sorry, your voice is not audible. What is that?
As per guardrails we can max.
Guardrails, I'll tell you, that will not take more than 5 minutes. I'll tell you. No issues. I will tell you about guardrails and all. We will join tomorrow to discuss about exception handling first. After that, we will discuss guardrails and all. Okay. But in the meantime, before I tell you guardrails, you go through Google. I got top 10 guardrails. You read it and tell me on the day when we are going to discuss. Okay. For today we can wind up. Thank you. Ade చూడమంటున్నా. Just go through Google and see what is guardrails and all, and we can have a discussion about that. Before we discuss here, just go through it and understand what is exactly all about.
Harsha,
In Google, it will not take more than 2 to 3 minutes. Okay. So I will be sharing a document of other batch having this content, same content.